This movie begins with Dawson preparing to go jet skiing. He narrates his ordeal, loving a woman who is oblivious to it. That woman is London, his best friend. He quotes C.J. Lewis, implying that loving someone greatly simply means that in the event of a heartbreak, one suffers greatly too. Ironically, it is still fair to give love a chance. London is a bubbly lady that has everyone around smiling, even Toby, her dog. She works so much that Louise, her mom, has to tell her she's done enough for the day. She can't keep her best friend waiting for too long. With a broad smile, she leaves for the lake. Dawson, who's lost his parents, spends his time at the lake. It's almost as if things make more sense to him at the lake. He goes jet skiing for a while as he awaits London's arrival. Finally, London arrives. She's changing her clothes when Dawson looks away. London thinks that this act makes Dawson too traditional for their age. They soon go jet skiing together. Now at the lake house, they prepare a meal together as London talks about Ben, her boyfriend. Dawson is disappointed anytime Ben's name is mentioned, intentionally referring to him as Bob instead. For Dawson, it's him implying that London breaks up with Ben with him saying it. Louise's mom is suffering from an illness that requires her to be a donor. Against Louise's wish, London has opted to be the donor. At the hospital for Louise's dialysis, Viola, Louise's nurse, advises London that things could go wrong. Viola wants her to stay strong and hold on to whatever can keep her grounded. At home, Larry, Louise's husband, and London make Louise feel better. This becomes their daily routine. Besides, what are families for? The next day, London surprisingly asks Dawson about church. Dawson indulges her and tells her what the pastor's sermon was about: grace and God's kindness. London has so many questions bothering her, but she opts to ask them much later. Before they go on a drive, London talks about her thoughts about life, before mentioning that she broke up with Ben. This is sweet music to Dawson's ears, but he doesn't make it obvious. That evening, they drive into town to get ice cream, arriving at the cafe excited. London hands over the car keys to Dawson while she goes to get the ice cream. In a jiffy, Dawson hears the screeching sounds of car tires accompanied by people muttering. He's concerned, so he turns around to find out what has happened. London has just been hit by a car. Dawson rushes to her. They both hold hands and cry as they await help. Dawson encourages her, saying that she'll be fine, telling her to please ask the question that has been bothering her. In pain, London says she has asked God already. The ambulance arrives, and London is rushed to the hospital for proper care. Louise and Larry are devastated. The doctor steps out of the emergency room and breaks the news. London had passed on. The injuries were so severe that she couldn't survive them. London's parents burst into tears, while Dawson can't wrap her head around the situation either. He retreats to the car and howls as if severely wounded. During and after the burial, Dawson conceals his pain around people, going about with a heavy heart. In his alone time, he weeps. Days later, Dawson visits London's parents. They then share a secret they regret not sharing with London before her demise. London was conceived through in vitro. The procedure produced 2 embryos, but Louise's organs were too weak to carry both, leading to weak kidneys. They had to give out the other embryo. What this means is that London probably has a sibling. Dawson wonders for hours what can be done. Andy, the other embryo from Louise's in vitro procedure, enjoys life with her family, the Allens. She has just gotten a job as a volunteer for the zoo, and she's excited about it. Dawson is still devastated by London's passing. He confides in Carl, their friend, that London might have a sibling somewhere, and he's open to going looking for the sibling. Carl thinks he's just having a hard time processing London's passing. Andy returns home to her parents and her sister Amy. They all share in Andy's joy as she reveals that she now has a job. Before Andy's return, Jenny Allen and Jim Allen contemplate telling Andy the truth about her birth. No time seems to be a good time. Besides, it's Andy's birthday. They wouldn't want to dampen her mood. Andy throws a birthday party for herself. There, Matt, Andy's boyfriend, tells Jim that he's proposing to Andy soon. This turns out to be Jim and Jenny's confirmation that they must tell Andy the greatest secret of her life. While Larry thinks that the matter should be left untouched, Louise doesn't agree. Interestingly, Dawson begins making efforts to unravel if London has a sibling. He finds Dr. Whitney, who might have an idea on the matter. He is referred to Dr. Baker, who explains the little he can, keeping more sensitive information confidential. Dawson spends all his time searching for the truth. He connects the dots, and eventually, he discovers what might just be the truth. He discovers Andy Allen in Nashville. Louise's feelings are mixed when Dawson tells her of his discovery. In all, she wouldn't stop Dawson's quest. The next day, Dawson makes the trip to the zoo in Nashville. Seeing Andy makes him so emotional. Andy notices Dawson staring but shrugs it off. She has to deal with people daily. This is probably just one of them. Matt visits Andy, and she reports Dawson's weird character to Matt. Dawson hasn't stopped sketching and staring. As the sun sets and the zoo has fewer visitors, Dawson approaches Andy. He immediately introduces himself and states why he's there, her supposed adoption. Andy laughs it off. Dawson sees that Andy doesn't know her reality, so he just lets her be, but he leaves her with his card. Andy is home to her parents, where she explains what happened at the zoo with a stranger. Sadly, they confirm that the stranger isn't far from the truth. This vexes Andy, and she berates them for not mentioning something this serious to her. She's very devastated. That evening, she leaves for Birmingham to go look for her real family. She phones Dawson, informing him of her visit to Birmingham. They decide to meet at the cafe where London worked with her mom. Hannah, Carl's partner, is surprised to see a split semblance of London. It's good news for Louise and even Larry. Louise already made plans for Dawson to bring Andy over for dinner. Andy is now at Larry and Louise's home. Larry is awestruck seeing London's sibling. Louise is super excited too, while Toby welcomes Andy wholeheartedly. Andy comes with a soothing aura. Her entrance lights up the house. After dinner, Larry and Louise tell Andy about London, using London's photo album. Larry and Louise can't help but imagine what it would have been like raising both girls. Andy wants to know everything about London, wanting Dawson to take her to London's favorite spots. The next day, Dawson takes Andy to a theater. There, he goes about answering questions about London. Dawson takes it as a time to bond with someone like London, so he reenacts things he did with London right there. From story to story, Dawson shares his memories, his highs and lows with London while she was alive. Andy now wishes she had met London, who seems like a beautiful soul. Back at home, Louise asks Andy to stay over at their home till she goes back, and Andy agrees. That evening, Matt's call doesn't change her mind, but Matt does well to remind her that Amy is her sister and not London. This irks her, and she ends the call. Andy's presence gives the Quinns and Dawson some sort of succor. That evening after dancing, as they do with London, Larry plays his guitar as Andy sings gospel hymns. The next day, Dawson takes Andy to the lake house, while Dawson takes her jet skiing. Dawson also confesses to Andy that he loved London, but never told her. Andy will savor every moment in Birmingham before contemplating when to leave if she decides to go back to the Allens. Andy wants Dawson to take her to London's gravesite. Dawson does, and Andy pays her respect. When Andy asks, Dawson also reveals that Louise is battling kidney failure. Her only known match has passed on. That evening, with Louise and Andy alone, Louise pleads with Andy to consider speaking to the Allens. She explains how much she thinks the Allens love her regardless. The next day, Andy happily calls Matt to inform him that she will give Louise one of her kidneys if she is a match. There's an unspoken rift between Matt and Andy. Matt makes the trip to Birmingham to speak with Andy. He's sure that Dawson is part of the reason Andy hasn't returned home. Andy doesn't even trust how she feels at the moment. One thing is certain for her. She and Matt should have stayed as friends. But Matt can't handle being just friends with Andy. After a mutual breakup, the two hug one last time, with tears rolling down their cheeks. Matt holds back a waterfall. That day, Andy places a call to the Allens. She tells them she's fine, and she also reveals that she has decided to give one of her kidneys to her biological mom. The Allens just want her back as soon as possible, but Andy disagrees. She needs time from them to better process her feelings at the moment. A tough decision for her, but she will follow her heart. The next few days, Dawson and Andy have as much fun as they can. They visit the lake house again. This time, Andy pushes Dawson into the lake. After jet skiing, they swim in the lake together, just as Dawson would do with London. Dawson and Andy also spend time doing other things Dawson would do with London. By evening, they sit at the fireside, and Dawson encourages Andy to make things right with the Allens. That same evening, Louise also tells Andy to consider going home after the surgery. The Allens are still her parents. It's a tough time for Dawson. Navigating his current situation and balancing what he now feels for Andy is hard enough. He also has a job to help Andy not alter the course of her life. Dawson finds the courage to reveal what has been burning in his heart. Whatever he feels for Andy isn't because of what he feels for London. Carefully, Andy feels the same way too, but she feels that Dawson keeps pushing her away by insisting that she return to Nashville. Dawson helps her understand why he isn't pushing her away. In no time, they kiss passionately, fully embracing the moment as their lips meet again and again. It's surgery day. Andy puts a call through to Jenny, alerting her about it. Louise can't help but feel blessed to have Andy by her side. After the successful surgery, Andy packs her things, ready to go back to Nashville. Jenny and Jim come to pick her up. There's a very warm exchange of pleasantries between the parents. Before they leave, Jenny thanks Louise for giving Andy to her again. Jenny doesn't take the gesture for granted. They share a hug and step out. Larry urges Andy to keep being the good daughter that she has always been to the Allens. Andy hugs her biological parents warmly before bidding them goodbye. The tears flow freely for the women. Andy can't stop looking back as they drive off. She's home to Amy, her sister, who misses her so much. Dawson spends much time at London's graveside. Days pass, and Louise is comforted by her belief in God. She's sure that they'll meet in London again. For the time being, she also finds comfort in the fact that she still has people whom she loves and cares about. Andy is enjoying the beautiful scenery in her place of work when Dawson shows up. He says he has been considered for a job opening away from Birmingham, and he hopes it's in Nashville. Andy understands Dawson's presence, and the two share a kiss as lovers that they have now become.